This is the Jerry Callahan Show.
And I know I've said it a few times over the last 3.5 years. I said it during COVID. I said it during the House investigation into the Biden crime family. But what we're witnessing right now in this country, in Washington, D.C., is simply the biggest political scandal in American history. What we're seeing is a effort to lie to you, to lie to the American people, to cover up the condition of the President of the United States. I am now 100% convinced that KJP and John Kirby and Jill Biden and Joe Biden are lying to you. Your president is 81 years old. He's not a young 81. He's not a virile 81. We saw it in the debate, and we've seen it over and over again. The debate wasn't an aberration. That was the president. That was a typical 81-year-old man. He wasn't a brilliant man to begin with, and his brain has decayed. It is a serious national security issue right now. Today, 31 nations are assembling in D.C. For the NATO summit. Every country in NATO is coming to D.C. to discuss serious international issues, including war in Ukraine. They're going to talk about bringing Ukraine into NATO, which is the reason Putin invaded in the first place. The world is teetering, and our president is not well. And these are not good people. These are not honest people. They're not concerned about the health of the man, nor are they concerned about the country. They're concerned about November 5th, 2024. That's all that matters. Keeping power, keeping a Democrat in the White House, and they know there's no easy, logical alternative. They must stay with Joe Biden because he won't leave, and his vice president is a moron. So there's a concerted effort, a campaign. It's not going well because they don't have the best people doing this, but they're lying. They're lying over and over again. I am now convinced 100%. And, I've been known to jump to conclusions, but I spent an hour reading about Parkinson's and dementia. I watched many videos. I am now convinced he has Parkinson's. That's not good. That doesn't get better. You don't take a little sweet pill and recover from Parkinson's. When you have Parkinson's and dementia, it's called Lewy body dementia, and it is hell. It is the worst way to age. It is, I would say, on par with ALS. It is torture. You have dementia. You have hallucinations. Yes, you see things. You forget. You get frustrated. You get angry. And you get incapacitated. That is the condition of the Democrat nominee. And he's such a stubborn, miserable, awful man that he doesn't care about the country. He doesn't even care about the Democrat Party. He cares about him and his family. He's not giving up. He's not going away. And his wife is not going to let him. She doesn't care about her husband and the condition he's in. Any loving spouse would take the man back to Delaware this weekend and say, we're done. We're not doing the next 4 months. We're not doing the convention. We're not doing any debates. We are going to make him comfortable. We are going to walk on the beach. We're going to spend time with our grandchildren, including our youngest granddaughter, who we denied existed for years. But these aren't good people. That's the biggest lie of all, that he's a decent, compassionate family man. No, he's not. He's a head of a crime family, and the people around him, his son, Hunter, and his wife, Dr. Jill, are pushing and forcing and insisting he stay in the race when they know he's not capable of doing it. It is an amazing thing to watch. And here you have people around him who are just power drunk and petty and dishonest people who aren't going to tell you the condition of the president. They're going to continue to hide him, kind of the way they did 4 years ago. They had an excuse 4 years ago, COVID. He could hide in the basement. he could let the media carry his water. They're not doing it anymore. The media, many of them, most of them, it looks to me, are salvaging what's left of their professional dignity and bailing out. We told you about all the celebrities yesterday, Rob Reiner and who's the other crazy man? We told you about Stephen King. These people soon will get De Niro. Soon we'll have Keith Oldman. These are people who know what they're looking at. They would, if Joe Biden could function, they'd be by him. They'd be telling you he has to remain in office. Joe Biden can't function. He cannot. He has Parkinson's. I don't know what other reason a neurologist would make monthly visits to the White House. This was reported by the New York Times. That's where we're at. The New York Times is now breaking the news that a neurologist, an expert in Parkinson's, visited the White House 8 times. Here it is, yesterday, July 8th, New York Times. An expert on Parkinson's disease from the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center visited the White House 8 times in 8 months, last summer through this spring, including at least once to meet with Joe Biden's personal physician. This was determined by visitor logs. Why would a neurologist visit Joe Biden monthly? Why? For a checkup? That's not how checkups work. The first time he went there, I'm just going to tell you, the first time he went there, he knew Biden had all the symptoms of Parkinson's. He knew it. That's why he was going back. That's why they covered it up. Right now, they're trying to carry a ill man, a sick man, over the finish line. They're trying to carry him to November 5th, and they don't care that he's unable to function, unable to do the duties the office requires. He can't do the convention. He can't do the debates. He can't do a rope line. He can't do a meet and greet. He can't do 20 minutes with big donors in some mansion in the Hamptons. He can't do it, and they don't care. Right now, as I speak, there's a secret meeting on Capitol Hill. Democrats are holding a meeting. No phones allowed, no media allowed, to discuss the future and where they will stand on President Biden going forward. Everyone in that room, everyone knows he must step down. He must be replaced. He can't do it. Everyone. But they're going to come out. AOC, even before the meeting, stood in front of the media and said, he's our guy. He's going nowhere. We're with him. She knows his condition, although maybe she's so stupid, she maybe doesn't understand it. But people know in that room, people know in D.C., it is the largest propaganda effort, gaslighting effort we've ever seen. And the stakes are so high. This can't go on. It can't. You can't sit there and say, he's good, ready to go. The guy we saw in the debate on Thursday, 12 days ago, that's the guy right now preparing to meet with our NATO allies. That's the guy who has to campaign for president. A really tough job. I mean, not on his current schedule. Yesterday, Joe Biden had 0 campaign events. His wife had 3 in 3 different states. She thinks she's running for president. We will get to her. She is just delusional. She's vile. She really is. This woman is vile. I don't know how everyone can't see that. That this woman is looking at her ill, incapacitated spouse and saying, yeah, Joe, we can do it. We can do it. We can beat Trump. We beat him before. We'll beat him again. They don't care that he's in this condition. They don't care that he should be somewhere else in assisted living, relaxing, enjoying his final few years on this earth. All I can tell you is what I've told you many times. It will get worse. I have seen it firsthand. I have seen it in my family. You visit mom in the nursing home, and then you visit 3 days later and you see it. You visit 2 days later and you see it. It gets worse. It goes downhill fast. Don't believe me? Google it. Parkinson's, dementia, Lewy body dementia. Google it. It is the worst way to go. It is brutal. And that's what's going to happen to this man and his wretched wife and his crackhead son and his inner circle of scumbag opportunists. Don't give a damn. This was an amazing interview. I had to Google to make sure I had it right. This is on NBC News. The man's name is Dr. Tom Pitts. He's a neurologist who claims he's a Democrat. And what he's seeing alarms him, that the Democrats are pushing this dementia patient up on stage in front of crowds on the debate stage and acting as if he can't do it. He can't. We know it. Listen to this interview on, again, NBC News. I told you who reported the neurologist going to the White House. That's the New York Times. These people have spent 3 years covering this up. They're done. It's an amazing thing to watch. Yesterday's press conference with KJP was remarkable, and we will get to it because that's how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to demand answers. You're not supposed to be part of a cover-up and protecting the sick, feeble, frail man in the White House. But listen to this guy and tell me he doesn't know what he's talking about. Go ahead.
You noticed anything that gives you a red flag as a doctor?
Oh, yeah. I see him 20 times a day in clinic. I mean, it's ironic because he has just such classic features of neurodegeneration. I mean, word finding difficulties, and that's not, I couldn't find the word. That's from degeneration of the word retrieval area.
He's also overcome stuttering, though. Could that
stuttering
come that too?
No, this is not a palatal issue or a speech discrepancy, which is very different from a lemino dysfunction, actual word retrieval, where you pick a similar question or talk around the issue, plus the rigidity, monotone voice.
Wait, go back to that, the rigidity. What do you mean?
Rigidity, loss of arm swing, standing up lordotically. You notice when he turns, it's kind of end block turning. It's not a quick turn. So that's one of the hallmarks of Parkinsonism is rigidity and bradykinesia, slow movement. And he has that hallmark, especially with the low voice that said was a cold hypophonia. A small monotone voice like this over time is a hallmark of Parkinsonism. I could have diagnosed him from across the mall.
Here are some of the symptoms from Parkinson's. We just had him up there on the screen. If we can put him back. What about the movement? Some people have pointed out the way he walks. Sometimes it's not very fast, small steps. Is that something that is common in people who are battling a disease like Parkinson's?
Yeah, it's a hallmark. Shuffling gait, we call that. So little steps. Loss of arm swing from the rigidity. When we walk, we have a nice cadence. You notice he doesn't really swing his arms. And end block turning, meaning he kind of pivots around his foot. If you said, hey, President Biden, he wouldn't go like this. So yeah.
But I also know, and tell me if I'm wrong here, it's very hard to diagnose Parkinson's, isn't it? It's not simple. I mean, I've heard that it can be.
It's one of the easier movement disorders to diagnose.
Hold on. Listen to this. This NBC hack, what's his name? Tom something. He says stutter, which is the first sign of a Biden stooge bringing up stutter. He hasn't had a stutter in 50 years, and they're still using stutter. And then they go to that. It's really hard to diagnose. No, it is not. It is not. I know this. It is not. And this doctor just looks at him and says, no, it's one of the easier things. He's shooting down the talking points one by one in a 2-3 minute interview, just casually shooting. No, that's it. And they list the symptoms, and Biden has all of them. All of them. He has been diagnosed with Parkinson's. I have no doubt. The doctor who went to the White House, Dr. Kevin Kennard, he knows it. The personal doctor, this guy, Dr. O'Connor, the Biden family doctor who's involved in the Biden schemes. He's actually involved with Joe Biden's brother in one of his brother's schemes at AmeriCorps. That guy, he's been lying to everybody too. They've been lying and covering up the condition of the commander-in-chief when we have world wars, when we have an open border, when we have crime in the streets, when we have real issues. They think this cadaver is worth preserving, protecting. The hell with the country. The hell with the world. They must save Joe Biden, a despicable man by any measure. They don't care. It's their way to maintain power. Keep playing this. Let's watch.
that it can be.
It's one of the easier movement disorders to diagnose, actually.
Right,
but it's so clinic. There's very little other. And I'm a Democrat. I always say about this.
Right.
It's just like, this guy is not a hard case.
But I've had relatives who have gone through neurological issues, and I've heard that sometimes Parkinson's is not very easy to nail. You have to take a lot of tests.
It's early on. If you're just presented with like hallucinations, that could be a variety of things, or just the cognitive problems. That could be Alzheimer's versus Parkinsonism, and that becomes a little nebulous. But once you start manifesting the hallmark motor symptoms,
right?
Slow movement, rigidity, mass facies, hypophonia. I mean, if a med student did not pick Parkinson's on the test, they'd be remediated.
So let me ask you, you're a Democrat, you're a doctor. You sound like you're frustrated with what the White House is saying.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because, I'm an American before everything. And I look at it and say, when I used to see Russia, Soviet Union, North Korea, when they just make outrageous things, like when North Korea can't keep the lights on and they say, it was some faulty power thing. I kind of hate that kind of stuff. They had 4 years. My own party had 4 years to find, this was a wreck in slow motion. And they had 4 years to find, out of 350 Americans, one person that could take the place. And here we are the day before school trying to do the homework and replace a guy who's got a neurodegenerative disease.
Somebody at NBC is getting fired today. How did he get in the building? He's in studio at NBC telling the truth, exposing this scam, this lie. He knows it. He said a first-year medical student knows it. It is not that hard to diagnose. And how about that? He says, it could be Alzheimer's, perhaps. Or, okay, you mean it's only Alzheimer's that our president has? He has both. He has dementia. He has Parkinson's. It is brutal. We are going to see it. Hopefully he loses in November. But if he's in the public eye and Jill's not protecting him, and I don't think she will, because there's money to be made. When you leave the White House, you can make a lot of money. He made $11 million when he left the vice president's office in 1 year, speaking and writing a book. They're going to want to shove him out there. Wait till you see what Joe Biden looks like a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. The idea, and here's what we'll do. We'll look back 2 years from now when he is shuffling with a walker and it may be on the beach and he can't barely move. And we'll say, the Democrats wanted him in the White House. Forget Trump. We're not talking about Trump. We're not talking about anybody else. We're talking about this man. We are a country of laws, not a country of men. The graveyards are full of indispensable men. Joe Biden's not an indispensable man. He's dispensable, but they insisted on keeping him at the top of their party. They said, the hell with Dean Phillips, RFK Jr., you're out of here. We need this man to hold on to power. And they knew over a year ago what condition he was in. And they just kept shoving him out there. And we just kept noticing. And until Thursday night, June 27th, when he had to face off against Donald Trump in a debate where all the rules favored Joe Biden, until that day, the media was in on it. They were protecting him. They were helping him. They were like that guy, that NBC guy. They were saying, oh, he had a stutter. Oh, it's normal aging. Oh, this is, get that statement up. Get the statement up. This is from this lying Dr. O'Connor, the White House, the personal physician of the Biden family. A statement, I believe, this morning, which is just amazing. These people have no shame. I got it here. In the statement, it says President Biden has had an extremely detailed neurological exam, which found no issues. His gait issues are from a fractured foot, spinal arthritis, and neuropathy. Most importantly, doctors found him healthy and fit. This is North Korea stuff. This is Orwellian. Healthy and fit. That guy we see every day, that guy on the stage in Atlanta with Trump, healthy and fit. Signed by Kevin O'Connor, physician to the president. Kevin O'Connor, you should be ashamed of yourself. You are a disgrace. You are lying. This is important. We're not talking about making, a family member feel good, saying, oh yeah, dad's good. He's good to go. He'll be there at Christmas. You'll be fine. We're talking about the president. We're talking about the country. the nuclear codes, the NATO summit, and this shameless, lying fraud. Kevin O'Connor saying he's tip top. He sounds like Joe Scarborough. This is a doctor, and the doctor is lying to the country. The doctor is lying to the world. Amazing stuff going on, unfolding before our eyes. Fortunately, people are waking up. Fortunately, I think it's not going to work. I mean, Trump is a lucky man. He's running against a man with serious neurological issues, a man that everybody can see, everybody knows, can't do the job. So yesterday, do you want me to get to this now, Ironhead? Do you want to get back? We'll come back to it. A wild scene in D.C. And all I'm going to say is, if you're new to the game, if you haven't been paying attention over the last 7 years, this is how it's supposed to work. This is how it worked under Trump. It is supposed to be adversarial. You know the spokesman, whether it's Kirby or KJP, are lying. You know they're lying, so you must press them. You must get them on the record. Well, they're done playing footsie with KJP because they know she's lying. They know she's covering up for the dementia patient in the White House, and they came after her hard, and it was glorious. This is what life was like for Sean Spicer and Sarah Sanders and Kayleigh McEnany. This is what they had to do on a daily basis. Finally, they're holding her feet to the fire, and she's not handling it well. The other thing, this is the result of the out-of-control DEI efforts of the Biden administration. They put an incompetent bird brain in this job because of race and sex and sexuality. That's why she's there. And we've seen for 3.5 years, she can't do it, or 2.5 years, she can't do it. And yesterday, man, was it an embarrassment for her, for the Biden administration, for the country. We'll get to that. And they're dragging the migrants out of Logan Airport as we speak. Yes, they're kicking out the illegal aliens out of Logan Airport finally and shipping them out to Norfolk. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
Ida was, I think KJP hadn't done one of these in a few days. So the media was all there, and they had questions, lots of questions, mostly about their lies, the lies they tell over and over again about the condition of the president. The New York Times story we read just broke. Other media outlets were reporting that Biden was a lost soul behind the scenes. So Kirby goes out and says, oh, no, he's great. He's talking about, I mean, they just tell lie after lie. Can we do the Parkinson's cut? Ironhead, the Parkinson's cut is great. Here's where I was pretty much convinced he has Parkinson's. Her denials are just, I'm just not buying them. I'm sorry. She's going out there with one purpose, to just lie about everything, about any question about his mental state. You have to tell the world that he's tip-top, never been sharper, sharp as a knife, ready for the NATO summit. Listen to this and tell me you're not, like me, more convinced than ever that he has Parkinson's. Go ahead.
Tell you this, just going back to Parkinson's for a little bit, so to give you some answers here. Has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No, he's not. Is he taking medication for Parkinson's? No. So those are the things that I can give you full-blown answers on.
I don't believe a word of that. I don't believe a word of it. I think they protest too much. She put too much emphasis on Parkinson's. And again, why would a neurologist, a Parkinson's specialist, be making monthly visits to the White House? Anybody? Anybody on the comment line? We got anything? Any theories? What's the answer? Why is a neurologist going to see Joe Biden every month? Why? I mean, knowing the way they operate, it's probably more than every month because they don't keep visitor logs at Rehoboth Beach. That's why he goes there. At any chance he gets. That's why he's always flying to Delaware. So are we to believe he doesn't see a neurologist when he's in Delaware? That it's just at the White House? They are lying about everything. And the media, fortunately, is not taking it anymore. She had a 3.5-minute exchange with Ed O'Keefe from CBS, who just wasn't letting her come up for air. It was great. This is how it's supposed to go when you know they're lying to you. Is this the Ed O'Keefe cut, Ironhead?
Yes, it is.
It's long, and maybe we'll break it up. But it was great. This is how it's supposed to work. Go ahead.
We provide to all of you.
That's a very basic, direct question.
Wait. Hold on. Wait a second.
Eight times, or at least once, in regards to the president specifically.
Hold on a
Not
second.
what you should be able to answer by this point.
Wait, no.
Reporting about it.
No, wait a minute. Ed, please. A little respect here, please. So every year around the president's physical examination, he sees a neurologist. That's 3 times, right? So I am telling you that he has seen a neurologist 3 times while he has been in this presidency. That's what I'm saying. I am telling you that he has seen them 3 times. That is what I'm sharing with you, right? So every time he has a physical, he has had to see a neurologist. So that is answering that question.
No, it's not.
No, it is. It is. You're
Dr.
asking me.
Kevin Kennard, come to the White House.
But I also said to you,
conditions.
Ed, I also said to you, for security reasons, we cannot share names. We cannot share names.
That's a lie.
We have to.
This is national. This is the president of the United States. The question is, does he have the mental acuity to serve? And she says, we can't share names. The New York Times on this day reported the name of the Dr. Kennard. What a name. And we know the physician, White House physician's name. We know their names. That's a lie. And Ed O'Keefe knows it. It's not asking too much for the country with an election 4 months away to know what condition one of the 2 candidates is in, to know whether or not he has Parkinson's or dementia. They shouldn't be asking any other questions. The hell with what's happening at the NATO summit. The hell with the election. It should be about the condition of the man who is in the White House right now. He's not fit. When you hear this, when you see everything, he's not fit to serve 4 more months. The idea that he could serve 4 more years is laughable and good for the media. Peter Doocy, I don't even know if he got a question in. Everyone else was on the attack. The man who usually does the job of the media, Doocy, just kind of sat back and let it happen. Go ahead, play more.
We have to.
Others he would have met with.
We
but
cannot-
You can share names
No.
in regards to if someone came here in
No,
regards to
we
the
cannot
president.
share. We cannot share names of specialists broadly, from a dermatologist to a neurologist. We cannot share names. There are
Yes, you
security reasons. We have to protect.
It's public.
I understand that.
I looked it up before I came out
I
here.
hear
It's
you.
right there for anyone to see.
Ed, I hear you. I cannot from here confirm any of that because we have to keep their privacy. I think they would appreciate that too. We have to give them.
You should have the doctor.
We have to keep their privacy.
It is public
information.
I hear you.
listed that he
I
went
am.
And you're
I,
not allowed this to fester
guys,
longer, Kareem,
guys,
unless the White House
guys,
answers the
hold on
question.
a second. There's no reason to go back and forth and be in this
Well,
aggressive
we
way.
miffed around here about how information's been shared with the press corps about him.
What do you miss about? What do you miss
Everything
about?
he just asked about.
And then every time I come back and I answer the question that
And
you guys
answered it
asked.
correctly, and have to come back and clean.
I
up
never
the mess
answered the
later.
question incorrectly. That is not true. I was asked about a medical exam. I was asked about a physical. That was in the line of question that I answered. And I said, no, he did not have a medical exam. And I still stand by that. Matter of fact, the president still stands by that. He had a verbal check-in. That is something that the president has a couple times a week.
Now in regards to Dr. Kevin Kennard.
And I am telling you right now that I am not confirming names from here. It is a security reasons. I am not going to do
It was
that.
in the New York Times on the very day. The New York Times had the name of the doctor, and they said he was there monthly. And who knows how many times he went to Delaware. And she's saying he had 3 checkups, 1 a year, just 1 a year, routine, just a routine checkup. That is just a bold-faced lie. And everyone in the room knew it, and they know it. And she's not good enough to pull this off. Kirby's bad. Kirby's a liar, but he's much slicker. She is just terrible at this job. And this is what you get when you make hires based on immutable characteristics. You get a bubblehead who can't do what you need done, lie to everybody and get away with it. It was great. And it wasn't just him. That was Ed O'Keefe from CBS. It was one after another, just boom, boom, boom. And they get a little pissed, even though they're Democrats, even though they're Biden voters. They get a little pissed when you lie to them, when you piss on them and tell them it's raining. They get a little perturbed. She better be ready, because I think the worm has turned. This is going to be daily for her, because everybody knows they're lying. Everybody read the New York Times story. Everybody saw, well, many of them saw that NBC interview. They know. Everyone knows now. It's an amazing thing we're watching in Washington. The people surrounding Joe Biden are acting here. They're acting in service of this dementia patient. And no one is worse than Jill Biden. You want to do some more KJP? You want to get to Jill Biden here, Ironhead, because I can't wait. Jill Biden is just the worst woman in the world. I know there are people in prison for like murder and, child molesting. They're bad. She's her own kind of bad. She is just despicable, just the worst. I will say this again. If you go to a nursing home or assisted living place or a hospital, you see a person struggling. You see someone ill, someone suffering, and you feel a little better when they have a spouse, a loving spouse. You feel a little better when the family's there and making them comfortable. This woman doesn't give a damn about how comfortable, how safe, how protected her husband is. She doesn't care. She is the one propping him up, pushing him. She hit the campaign trail, I believe on Air Force One, by the way, to 3 states yesterday, giving speeches. And one thing she said just set me off. It's just, she's so just egomaniacal. She thinks she is the president. She thinks she is running to stay in the White House. And they're going to need the jaws of life to remove this despicable woman from the Oval Office. They really are. She's not going to go quietly. She's going to go literally kicking and screaming. Is this the shortcut about her career?
This is her. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Listen to this and tell me this delusional narcissist doesn't think she's the president. Go ahead.
Has made it clear that he's all in. That's the decision that he's made. And just as he has always supported my career, I am all in too.
What the hell does her career have to do with anything? We're talking about the future of the country. We're talking about big issues, wars and border and inflation. And she wants to support him because he supported her. She was a teacher? She's this fake doctor who wrote an illiterate thesis on community colleges. That's how she got her PhD, and insists on being called doctor.
Yeah, it's the same thing as being the president.
Right. And she thinks she should support him running for re-election because he supported her once upon a time when she was a teacher. She's insane. That's who's pushing this. Her and Hunter, who does not want the gravy train to end. All right, we got to get to the funniest 2 clips from a Democrat. No, what is that?
This is when she's like, "Don't yell, just talk."
Oh,
and then,
good. Yeah, we'll get to that. Then we got to get to Whoopi. We have to get to Whoopi. Don't let me forget Whoopi. The Whoopi cut is so good. This is her leaving one of her events yesterday. And since she's the de facto president, since Joe is hiding and resting and being treated, she's the face of the campaign. So she finishes an event and the media's there and they want to ask perfectly reasonable questions of Jill Biden. And she thinks she's a queen. She thinks she's the queen of America. And she gets all upset because someone dared to ask a perfectly good question. Go ahead. What do you think about Democrats who want your husband to pull out of the race? And she says, why are you yelling at me? Why don't you just talk to me? And then she walks away. She doesn't answer the question because she can't. and she loves. There's a story, the Vogue story, where they, had her on the cover, and they talk about all the trappings of the job of first lady, and you're in a limo, and you got Secret Service everywhere, and you blow through the red lights, and just how intoxicating it is. And it's a good summary of why this awful woman will never give up and never do what's best for her ailing spouse. She is just awful. Anyway, of course,
This is Whoopi having an idea of a job she could do.
Whoopi had plans. This was a couple of years ago, I believe, on The View. Whoopi has plans. Who is the guy? Is it Jonathan Karl? She isn't on The View with the View crew. And she had a plan for Dr. Jill when Joe Biden won the White House. Let's listen.
Dr. Jill becomes the Surgeon General, his wife.
Yeah,
Joe Biden's wife, because he would never do it, but she's a hell of a doctor. She's an amazing doctor.
I thought she was a doctor and
PhD.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
I think she's a teacher, but
Jonathan Karl's just looking at her going, did you just say that? She wanted Jill Biden to be the Surgeon General. She said, and one of the other View bimbos says, she's a teacher, but hey, she's an amazing doctor, says Whoopi. We talk about the celebrities bailing on Biden. I'm pretty sure Joe can rest assured that he's not going to lose Whoopi no matter what. Yesterday, and I this kind of turns my stomach watching this clip, but it's good. She made it clear there is nothing Joe Biden can do, nothing, including defecating himself, that will turn Whoopi against him. She's all in. Listen to this. Hopefully you're not having lunch, but listen to this stupid woman.
I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together. Show me he can't do the job. And then I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go. Now, he had a bad night the first time that he went out and debated with Kamala Harris. And everybody wanted him to quit then and say, you can't talk to women like this, or you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. He came back, said, you know what, I got it, and gave 4 years. So, yeah, I have poopy days all the time.
Oh, God.
I step in so much poo you can't even imagine. Now, I'm not running the world, but I don't know anybody who doesn't step in stuff at some point. So I'm just simply saying, there are 2 debates. And if he can't do what he needs to do for the second debate, I'll join any crew that says get rid of him. But loyalty to me, if you are doing the job, I might not like everything you're doing. I don't like it all. But I'm going to stand behind you like those guys stand behind the guy who should have been the person people were talking about saying, yeah, Biden had a bad day, but this guy couldn't tell the truth if it split his lip.
What? That is disgusting. She has poopy days all the time?
Sure.
Like while she's sitting there right now, is she having a poopy day? There's your typical Biden supporter at this point. She doesn't care that he's in the throes of dementia, that he has Parkinson's, that he's just inept, that he's hiding, that he has nothing on his schedule while his awful wife goes out and campaigns. When is Hunter going to hit the campaign trail, by the way? Oh, yeah. We got a big event coming Thursday. Looking forward to this. We will be here for this one. Ironhead. John Kirby says Joe Biden's going to do a press conference. That shouldn't be big news. Trump did them every day, sometimes too many of them. They would go on for an hour and a half. Joe Biden's actually to go before the press. And I'm pretty sure at this point, the press is not going to take scripted questions and read them as the campaign, as the White House wants them read. I could be wrong. There might be some plants. There might be some holdouts in there who ask what Joe Biden wants them to ask. But this is going to be crazy. If they treat Joe Biden like they treated KJP and Kirby yesterday, there's going to be something, man. This could be the day, the moment where everybody, even Whoopi, says it's over. Listen to Kirby preview the president's press conference.
After that, the president will hold a press conference. I guess a big boy press conference is what we're calling it, and take some questions from y'all.
A big boy press
conference. Big boy press conference. Wow. The president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, will hold a big boy press conference. Ooh, I'm excited. This is good. I mean, obviously it has to be between 11 and 4.
Yeah.
Obviously it has to go on for an hour. I mean, this could get ugly, but it could be very revealing. He'll have that orange face and everything will be right in place, but he can't use the teleprompter. He can't look down and read. He's going to have to answer questions. And I don't think it's going to go well. I don't go. Oh, by the way, he has lost Jake Tapper. We'll get to that. Jake Tapper has bailed, and we'll give you the plan for the migrants, for the illegal aliens who've been flopping in Logan Airport. They are removing them as we speak and shipping them elsewhere. That's happening in Massachusetts. It's happening everywhere. And it's about time. And in 4 months or in 6 months, hopefully we ship them the hell out of this country. But we'll get to that and more. But first.
Excuse me.
I have to say, Jake Tapper has surprised me. He was a loyalist, man. He was he did a good job. Kills me to say that in the debate. I mean, you couldn't tell that he was a Democrat, that he was a former spokesman for a gun control group, that he has been a Trump hater, that he compared Trump to Hitler over and over again. You couldn't tell in the debate. I think he's one of those people that said, I have to save my reputation. I love Joe Biden, but, my reputation's at stake here, because it is. Well, yesterday, Jake Tapper made it clear that his eyes are open and he sees what's happening to his guy, and he's going to save some dignity before Biden completely implodes. But let's listen to Jake.
In reality, 72% of voters say that they believe President Biden is too old. That's according to CNN's most recent polling. Voters have been saying this for quite a long time. The reality is that the Democratic elites are mostly late to acknowledge these age and ability issues compared to the rest of the public. The elites have been forced to reckon with it after the debate just 11 days ago.
Look at my career. I've not had many of those nights. It was a terrible night, and I really regret it happened. But the fact of the matter is, how can you assure you're going to be on Faith That Can Intervene on your way to go to, work tomorrow? Age wasn't, the idea I'm too old.
The fact of the matter is, how can you assure you're going to be out on your way to go, work tomorrow? Age wasn't, the idea that I'm too old. Keep in mind, that soundbite is supposed to be reassuring to those Democratic supporters who have gone wobbly. Many Democratic officials with whom I've spoken are worried that President Biden and his family and his inner circle appear to be in complete denial, not just about whatever might be wrong with him, but the state of his candidacy right now.
That is great. Reading Joe Biden verbatim is the best way you can prove that he has lost it. That he's right. That was the most friendly place he could go, the softest landing spot he could go. Joe and Mika, and he had notes. That was funny yesterday. KJP denied he had notes, and you could hear him shuffling the notes in the interview. And he actually said it. I got some things written down here. So he had notes. And he couldn't even do that. He couldn't get through that with Joe and Mika. And Jake Tapper just threw up his arms and said, you know what? There's only so much I can do here. Is this KJP lying again?
Yeah, this is about the scripts.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
During the call today to MSNBC, was the president reading off of a script?
So I was in the room when the president called into Morning Joe. The president spoke from his heart. The president was very clear. There was no script at all. And he was very detailed. You heard him say actually during the call that he was reading some quotes. He said it. He shared that information. He was reading some quotes from the debate. So he shared that with you. What you heard was a passionate interview. It was about 18 minutes. He talked about and laid out his vision for this country. He talked about how he wants to make sure we move forward. I want to be really careful because he also talked about the campaign, which I can't do from here. But he I think it was incredibly powerful.
Fact check. No, it wasn't. It was another disaster. And Mika pushed him, and he got snippy, as we played yesterday. I often look at these spokespeople, these hacks that work for, and they say they're all set for life. Like Jen Psaki, who before KJP, just lied on Biden's behalf every day, and she got a job, big job at MSNBC. That's how it works. Kayleigh McEnany's on Fox. I don't think KJP is going to be able to do it. They're not going to be able to give her own show on MSNBC or CNN. She's just not smart enough. She might become a college president or something, but she can't do the media thing. She's just not good enough at it. But all right, before we go, we got to get to, we have so much here. There's just so much going on. We are just going to be, I think we're all set for a while, Ironhead. We got the NATO summit. We got the big boy press conference. We got the conventions. We got the VP. The Fox News is reporting the short list is 4 people. Rubio, J.D. Vance, Burgum still, and I don't know. There's a 4th one, but anyway, I think I'm feeling good about J.D. Vance. I am feeling good right now about J.D. Vance's. Oh, I wanted to do this too. Do I have time? We could do it another day. But this SAVE Act is an amazing thing. The Republicans are pushing the SAVE Act, which means you have to prove you're a U.S. citizen to vote. Sounds like everyone could get behind that, right? Who would want illegals to vote? I'll tell you who. The party who has brought 15 million of them into the country over the last 4 years. They are fighting tooth and nail to make sure illegal aliens could vote, as we've talked about for 3.5 years. Why? Why do we have an open border? Well, because they want them to vote. And now they want to make sure they can vote now in November. And the woman pushing it is the whip, Catherine Clark from Massachusetts. Her job right now is to make sure they defeat a measure where you have to prove you're an American to vote in an American election. That's your Democrat Party right now. Put all their effort into making sure illegal aliens can vote. This is just a lawless, treasonous, traitorous act on the behalf of Catherine Clark and the Biden White House, too. They want to make sure illegals can vote. I thought they might wait 2 years, 4 years. Nope. In 4 months, they want to make sure illegal aliens can vote because they know who they're going to vote for. They have destroyed the country to get Joe Biden reelected. Anyway, I want to get to this, too, because we've been telling you about the illegal aliens who've been living, flopping in Terminal E in Logan Airport, big, beautiful new terminal, and they're just living there. Well, even Maura Healey, who invited them all here, I think has had enough, and she is ordering them to be removed. Good luck, Norfolk, Mass. As they're moving, I believe they're going to move most of them. Yes, here it is. This is from NBC Boston. Tuesday is the deadline for migrant families seeking shelter at Logan Airport to leave. Pack your stuff. The move comes as Massachusetts emergency shelter system has been working at max capacity for months. Governor Maura Healey says the state is out of shelter space. Gee, maybe you should have thought of that before you made it a sanctuary state, before you invited people from all over the world to come here for free food, free phones, free rooms, culturally sensitive meals, Uber rides, medical care, and schools. And they do say here, the state is transitioning people into the state's new safety net system, which includes the former Norfolk prison. That is going to be full by the end of the week. And I know it's summertime, but come September, good luck to Norfolk, because your schools will be overrun with people who need translators. For every teacher, you'll need 4 translators. As I told you before, a friend of mine is a teacher in Maine, and he said every time they had a parent-teacher conference, they would have to have 4 or 5 translators just for the parents, not the kids, the parents. It's going to change everything in Norfolk, in other towns where they have dumped illegal aliens, but they're out of Logan and they're on to Norfolk prison and other places, including nice hotels or formerly nice hotels. But it's about time. But I don't understand, why are they going to stop coming? They're still coming. Got 4 more months, 6 more months of an open border, 6 more months where states like Massachusetts are offering sanctuary and all the perks and all the benefits. So come on out. As Joe Biden said, surge the border for 6 more months. But hopefully, God willing, that'll be the end of it. And that will be the end of this show. Something tells me we're going to have more on this tomorrow. The Democrats are still meeting in private, secretly. What if a bunch of them, what if 40 or 50 of them come out and say, we're done. Joe Biden is not viable anymore. Then all hell breaks loose. And I don't know, 25th Amendment, Kamala Harris would have to lead the charge. No one has said more, insisted more that Joe Biden's healthy and strong and sharp and lucid than Kamala Harris. Can she make the pivot and suddenly say, we need to invoke the 25th Amendment for the first time in U.S. history and get the cabinet to vote him out and install her? What a wild time in this country. But that'll do it for today. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Ironhead. I'm Jerry Callahan. This is